Alright, so these video is going to go over the next two lesson plans just to get them set up for writing their empathy opinion editorial, which is an assignment and activity that we talked about a lot in our last meeting. Essentially, the work that they've been doing with their families is a practice for what they're going to be doing here. So they've been interviewing their families, getting a sense of their families' opinions, empathizing through that practice, and then doing the innovation. And that was, like, we're going to phrase that as that was practice for now actually doing that for your ISE. So we're moving into this objective, which is to complete step 1 of developing your ISE project proposals by doing an empathy opinion editorial. To give you a larger scope and sequence, I might actually go over this with my students, it's up to you, but just to kind of give them a larger scope and sequence, by the end of February, you're going to actually sit with and engage with communities directly related to your ISE. You're going to then use the empathy opinion editorial that you're going to submit to create your ISE proposal. You'll engage in some sort of feedback, and then by March, you'll be approved to move forward with your project, and then March through May is the completion of that actual project. So this just gives them, like, a larger scope and sequence. If they ask, like, well, what are some of the changes in the project because of coronavirus, let them know we're still figuring it out. And that we will give them some of those details once they're made fully approved and available. But right now we're going to start with engaging with the communities by that directly speak to our issue. So here you will say, so this slide is just to kind of give them a little bit of a scope and sequence of where we are in the work, so on and so forth. So yeah, blah, 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 and we are here. Okay, so let them know we're going to be taking a lot of notes in today's class. This is not a note-heavy class. We've probably had 2 to 3 classes in the entire year so far where there was more than 2 slides of notes, but today there's a lot of notes, so just kind of be ready for that. Okay, notes. You don't need to write any of this down because you should already know how to do it. Don't write anything down on the left. You guys know how to empathy map. We've gone through this process. We've practiced it. You just did it with your families. So what is an empathy map opinion editorial? Well, an editorial is a non-objective type of journalism where the purpose isn't to maintain objective facts, but the purpose is actually to establish an opinion. Doesn't mean that it's just an opinion, highly informed. So you'll kind of go through each of these bullet points and let them write them down and talk through the bullet points with them. Say, okay, great. We are going to be learning a specific format to write op-ed. All right, so what does this all mean for me in terms of my empathy mapping opinion editorial? Well, I will tell you. For this, your authority matters in establishing your opinion. So in authority matters, any opinion or idea you have, like I've already said, must be based on research. You're going to have to speak with people directly affected by the issue. That is firsthand research. You might want to give them an example here. So if I'm doing my ISE project on people who live with, I want to create some sort of social change around stigma about anxiety and depression, I'm going to have to sit and talk and interview and engage with people who have anxiety and depression, right? Or people who work in the field of mental health, people who can speak directly to this issue. I might also include existing research, meaning looking at articles, research, studies, investigations that already have data about this issue. What does this mean for the requirements of my op-ed? It means that format matters. This is a specific writing piece where you're going to be having to submit in a specific format. So you're going to have to structure ideas with the ICHP, tell them we're going to learn about that today. And you must be able to provide commentary and analysis to your evidence. It's not just dropping evidence in and saying, okay, you do something with it. It's dropping evidence in and commenting on what does this evidence show, what does this reveal. All right, a little bit more notes. Keep pushing through. What is the ICHP format? You're going to tell them the format. Okay, first I, introduce the topic. Then C. Oopsie. Oh yeah, ICHP. Then C, criticize. This is the section of the writing where you criticize. H, humanize. Go through these obviously a lot slower than I'm going through them right now. Focus on specific lens, highlight how people think. This is the empathy part. This is the part of your story where, the part of your writing where the empathy should super heavily come through because it's how people feel, think about this issue. It's heavily interview based. And then here you're going to end with P, which is praising a solution or making a call to action. Here you're going to research ways that this issue is already being solved, positive ways that this issue is already either through interviewing or through research where people feel like this issue is meeting their needs, and you're ending the article, your opinion editorial, or your opinion editorial either by talking about it or by praising ways that the solutions already exist to this issue and offering specific reasons why this solution is effective and a call to action. And then the class will end, so that's going to be like the first 25 minutes of class because that's a lot of notes, excuse my language. And then we're going to do a Jamboard activity. I have this in linked, so the page you want the students to go to is already linked in the slideshow, so you can just put it in the chat for them. And then in small groups, you're going to use the link to skim different articles. So like kind of tell them you don't have to read all the articles. You're going to kind of skim them. You're going to maybe divide and conquer. Okay, you read one from this series, you read one from this series. Then you're going to talk together and try to find examples of the criticize, humanize, and praise. They don't need to do introduce because that's pretty basic. You're just introducing the topic, but we're going to see if you can find examples. So I created this for my class, so that'll be 6 breakout rooms. Each one will be working on a board. Go ahead and just make a copy. It's here in this folder, right here, ICHP. Make a copy, and you can make one for your own class. So when you get the link to this folder, that's where you'll find that. This is Alisa's, and you'll just you'll make your own. Okay, I didn't do that this time. Last time I made them already, but all you have to do is just make a copy and grab that for the practice activity, where they're just reading articles together from this Humans of New York series and trying to find examples of what it looks like when, here's a quote. You can tell them, you can literally copy and paste the quote directly from the web page. Copy and paste directly. Oh, this is what criticize sounds like. This is what humanize sounds like. This is what praise sounds like, based off of the notes that they just took. That's the whole end of class. You may get to this exit ticket, you may not, but really just have them thinking about this assignment that you're going to be doing is no longer just like a practice. It is actually for your ISC. So what is the issue right now that you're thinking of? And if you can't write anything in the chat, you need to start developing that. Start thinking about what do you want to tackle for your innovation for social change? What issues are the things that you want to address in your project, in your work? Cool. Day 2. All right. Warm up. So tell them in the chat, just write, I am going to have you read a quote based on your notes. Is this I? Is this C? Is this H? Is this P? For you, if you're not sure, the answer's right there. For us as teachers, in case we forget, that's humanize. This is like a 10-minute warm-up. You'll have them read, put in the chat, maybe have a couple kids share out, why is this humanize? What makes this an example of humanize? Okay, same thing here. This is introduce. Why is this introduce? Talk about it, praise, criticize. So that's the warm-up, just having them read silently, maybe write in the chat, come off mute. What part of the ICHP format is this? They're out of order for a reason, so they don't think that it's like perfectly in order, but just so that they see this is what humanize looks like, this is what introduce looks like, this is what praise, this is what criticize looks like. Okay, practice. This is day 2. In small groups, you're going to open up the document that is in Schoology that has the ICSC format, and you're going to use the template to put bullet points of your main idea. You can pick one of these main ideas, bullet points of the main ideas of an op-ed using the ICHP format. You can use these topics, or they can come up with their own. That document that you need to put in Schoology for them to practice is this one right here. So ISC practice document has that directions, has the notes, and they're just coming up with bullet points as a practice in breakout room. So you need to put this in Schoology so that their breakout room can make a copy of it and turn it in at the end of class. Before you do that, I did an example. So tell them, like, this is what this looks like. You're not writing a whole article right now in breakout rooms. You're doing bullet points. Notice that in the introduce, I don't actually like research or look for the statistics right now. I just give the statistics and then explain the reasons teachers leave. Okay, criticize. I might criticize, and I actually come up with a thing that I'm going to criticize. Humanize. How would I do that? What do I do there? Praise. And I'm showing them, this is what I expect you to work on in your small groups in your document. If I was doing this assignment, this practice assignment for ICHP with this topic, this is what the bullet points would look like. And you kind of just go over each one with them. This is what criticize is. Notice how I'm picking a particular program, why it's wrong, why it doesn't work. And then I might actually interview a teacher in that pay for performance program to get their sense of like why this is not a positive way to address this issue. And then I'm going to humanize the issue. Here's how I'm going to humanize the issue. I'm going to talk to a teacher who's left the profession of teaching, ask them a bunch of questions, such as these. And then to close my opinion editorial, I'll praise. I'll need to find and research a school with high retention, a school where teachers don't leave, and interview them, get data, what makes them be a part of, or what makes them be a model school for high retention, meaning teachers are happy and they stay there. And then I might end my writing by motivating other educational systems to follow this model, because that's kind of the call to action. So they're working on that. This is the example. Basically, this class is really just quick warm-up. Well, it's actually like a 10-minute warm-up. What does each of these represent? Talk about it. Oh, this is humanize. Why? Oh, this is introduce. Why? This is praise. Why? Cool. Now let's practice it. You're going to actually create your own bullet points. Here's an example of what that looks like. Then put them in breakout rooms. What I'm going to do if there's time is that after they all submit that, I'll bring them back and then randomize their breakout rooms from, like, make totally random ones and have them kind of just share with each other their planned article so they can see examples of ICHP if there's time that allows for that. And then that's the end. That's the end. And day 3 is already planned, but I'm not going to record it in this video because we're not going to get to it this week, and we should probably meet again. So that's day 1 and 2. Text me if you have questions.